It's the highest grossing movie ever, but is Avatar actually good? The movie where a dude plugs his ponytail into a dragon, and somehow that's not the weirdest part. Let's duck roast Avatar. Avatar, James Cameron's wet dream, where he took every white savior saves the natives trope, threw it in a blender with FernGully and dances with wolves, and then hit puree while tripping on acid. This movie is not just a film. It's a psychedelic, blue-skinned, mind-bending, kaleidoscopic, hallucinatory, overindulgent, pretentious, visually drenched roller coaster through liberal white America's collective guilt trip, sprinkled with eco-preachiness, military-industrial complex slander, wrapped in a stunning CGI spectacle that screams, "Forgive us for colonialism," but also, here's a blockbuster, gimme money. A familiar story presented with the unwavering belief that a clueless white guy will always be better at someone else's culture than they are. Jake Sully, a paraplegic ex-Marine who's about as useful as an air conditioner in the Arctic. Jake starts out fully committed to Team Evil Corporation, who gets dropped into a world he knows nothing about. He has zero qualifications for this mission, except that he's the twin brother of the dead qualified sibling that links with the Avatar. He's ready to report his findings, collect a paycheck, and don racially insensitive blueface. Neytiri, the badass warrior princess who absolutely did not sign up for dragging Jake Sully's clueless ass through Na'vi boot camp. At first, she rightfully wants to murder him for stomping through her forest like a lost frat bro. She spends most of the movie saving Jake from his own stupidity, yet, somehow, against all logic, she falls for him. Probably because he's the only dude on Pandora who isn't her cousin. Dr. Grace Augustine is basically your nicotine-addicted, chain-smoking, no-nonsense college professor who stopped caring about your dumbass questions 10 years ago.
Who's got my goddamn cigarette?
She's that liberal white woman who thinks she's down with the culture because she wrote a book on it, but let's be real, she's still a colonizer with a PhD, just one who thinks she's different because she says nice things about the natives that she's still low-key exploiting. Colonel Quaritch, the human embodiment of pure, unfiltered war propaganda. A war-horny meathead with an epic buzz cut who gets visibly aroused by explosions, pull-ups, and the smell of gunpowder. If something isn't dead or destroyed, then he's not finished yet. War isn't just a job, it's his one true love. If you're liking this, smash that like button like it owes you money, and hit subscribe. Don't be shy, it's free and mildly satisfying. Let's set the scene. Earth is a garbage fire, and an evil corporation decided to strip mine an alien paradise known as Pandora for a resource called unobtanium, a name so lazy you'd think they came up with it 5 minutes before the script deadline. A mineral literally named hard to get. It might as well be called plot convenium, no touchium, or MacGuffinite. Jake meets Dr. Grace Nicotine, and within 5 seconds, she looks like she regrets every life choice that led to this moment. Realizing that she now has to train this meathead to survive Pandora, takes a deep breath and heads straight for the lab's emergency cigarette stash. She immediately roasts him for being the Timu version of his dead scientist brother. Jake Sully, our himbo messiah, the paraplegic ex-Marine whose only qualification for this mission is the fact that his smarter, more qualified twin brother died off screen. The evil corporation decides that even white guys can be DEI hires if they fit the mold, and hands him the keys to a multi-billion-dollar Avatar body. And so begins the most profitable box office haul of cultural appropriation ever recorded. Being a military grunt with the intellectual depth of a kiddie pool, Jake is originally on board with the whole exploit the natives for their precious mineral scheme, because what's a little ecological genocide when there's a paycheck involved? That is until he gets lost, meets Neytiri, and realizes that the Na'vi have something Earth girls simply don't: blue booty. It's at this moment that Jake's jungle fever mode activates.
Definition check. Jungle fever. When a white dude enters an exotic culture and suddenly thinks he's discovered the meaning of life, and by extension, love.
Enter the noble, mystical, and definitely not based on real indigenous people, the Na'vi. The Na'vi are tall, blue, and oddly attractive. They're in tune with nature, wear barely their outfits, and have a spiritual connection to their land. Because naturally, an indigenous coded alien species in a Hollywood movie must have a deep spiritual connection to their environment.
I have such an appreciation for your environment and can tell you have a deep connection to it.
Bitch, this is just 47th Street.
Neytiri is skeptical at first, but Hollywood law states that if a white man fumbles around long enough, the native girl must eventually fall for him. Yes, folks, this is the classic tale that a man will literally change who he is just to get laid. It's both incredibly romantic and sad. Cue the obligatory training montage. Jake flails around the jungle with all the grace of a tap-dancing crack monkey, nearly gets eaten at least 5 times, and struggles to string together a basic Na'vi sentence without sounding like someone with the IQ of a snot rag. He learns to hunt. Translation:
Neytiri does all the work while he awkwardly fumbles with a bow.
Bond with animals via USB ponytail, and gradually earns the respect of the tribe, mostly by not dying. Cut to the moment where Jake and Neytiri's intergalactic jungle fever reaches its climax, literally. Under the glow of Pandora's conveniently romantic bioluminescent foliage, Neytiri gazes into Jake's big, dumb colonizer eyes and decides, why the hell not? Then comes the big moment. They connect ponytails, because apparently, on Pandora, love is sealed with a biological HDMI cable. This is the same tail Jake has used to control horses and dragons and who knows what else. So let's just take a second to process the fact that he's basically eating with the hand he wiped his ass with. Neytiri whispers the classic post-coital line,
"Now we are mated for life."
Jake whispers back, "Ooh, look at the time." Back at Human HQ, War-horny McBuzzcut and Mr. Evil CEO are growing impatient. Basically, the convo comes down to, why negotiate when we can just blow up their house? Jake Sully, former Meals on Wheels, Marine turned jungle warrior after a few months of blue LARPing, has tamed the biggest dragon, and in the mystical logic of the dick waving contest, Jake has the biggest dick. Jake rallies the Na'vi like a big blue Braveheart, delivering a rousing speech full of inspirational nonsense that roughly translates to, "Hey guys, I just got here, but trust me bro, trust me." Because obviously these people who have lived on Pandora for generations need a moron in blueface with about 3 months of jungle experience to tell them how to fight for their own survival. But oh no, Dr. Grace Nicotine, our resident chain-smoking scientist, gets shot in a previous skirmish. The Na'vi attempt to transfer her consciousness into her avatar body at the sacred Awa tree. They literally try to have Dr. Nicotine Puff Hippie symbolically hug a tree. Cue the final battle, where the humans roll in with tanks, mechs, and enough firepower to wage a peaceful protest, while the Na'vi counter with arrows, war paint, harsh language, and the rude attitude of just wanting to be left alone. The battle between the Na'vi and the humans is like watching a Greenpeace fever dream set to an action movie soundtrack. The humans show up thinking they can colonize Pandora, only to get absolutely bodied by a bunch of 10-foot-tall smurfs riding pterodactyls. It's a glorious mess, and a strong reminder that maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't mess with a planet that literally fights back. If you made it this far, you're basically part of the clan, so hit like and subscribe before Colonel War-horny McBuzzcut shows up. The grand finale commences, where Jake, self-proclaimed savior of the Na'vi, faces off against Colonel War-horny McBuzzcut in the ultimate battle of corporate greed versus cultural appropriation. Colonel McBuzzcut, who's piloting a mech suit that looks like a special needs transformer, and Jake, despite months of Na'vi training, is still getting absolutely wrecked and about to get turned into Na'vi-flavored roadkill. Who steps in to actually save the day? Neytiri, of course. She skewers War-horny McBuzzcut and clips Jake's blue balls simultaneously with a well-placed arrow. Because nothing says himbo messiah like needing your badass alien girlfriend to bail you out of a fight that you started, proving once again that the actual competent fighters of Pandora were the Na'vi all along. Rest assured, I think it's obvious Jake didn't get any blue booty that night. Congratulations, Jake, you appropriated everything except being a man. And so we arrive at the grand finale. Jake Sully, former human, former Marine, and now full-time blue cat boy, lying dramatically beneath the sacred Awa tree, about to complete his final act of ultimate cultural immersion by literally transferring his consciousness into his Na'vi avatar and leaving his human body behind, like last season's iPhone. The actual Na'vi, who have spent their entire lives in tune with Pandora's spiritual and natural forces, stand around and graciously allow it, as if this is totally normal and not the most extreme case of playing dress up in history. And with a dramatic pan, his human body dies, his Na'vi eyes snap open, and boom! Jake did an appropriation speed run of a native culture and is now, somehow, their most important member. So, what have we learned? The real unobtanium was subtlety. If you watched Avatar for layered storytelling, you should have left when the mineral was literally called unobtanium. There is no culture that Hollywood doesn't believe a white person can't improve. Friendships have ended, wars have been waged, people have died. Never underestimate the power of booty. This is a story we've seen a million times before, except this one just has a shiny 3D coat and cost a shitload of money to make. I score this movie 3 out of 5 unobtaniums. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more content like this. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Catch you in the next Duck Roast.